Hey everyone, Tony George from DocSports.com. We're talking WNBA 2021 season primer, a little bit about my program, and a futures pick. You can take a look at it as a little bit of a long shot that's got some great value. You might be able to turn a huge profit on one that I personally wagered out here in Las Vegas. Anyway, May 14th. Is the tip-off date for the WNBA. Happens to be the same day as my 33rd wedding anniversary. That's right. Somebody put up with me for 33 years and 3 years before that. My goodness. Anyway, a special day on Friday. And we're going to talk about our program this year. And for the first time in a long time, I brought on a full-time staff handicapper. And a little bit about the program is going to be the same philosophy I use in all the other sports. Low volume, not a lot of huge plays, flat bet technique, and I've succumbed to the fact it's my 4-year anniversary here at Docs this upcoming June, and I've brought on a lot of new sports during the time that I've been at Docs. The demands are high at Doc Sports. It's the highest level sports handicapping firm in the country in terms of transparency and expectations. You either get it done or you're gone, and I like that. And I put a lot of personal demands on myself, and I don't care what you read on the internet and these sports forums, this, that, and the other, that you got a bunch of guys out there that throw it up against a wall and see if it sticks, and they don't care. They're just taking your money. That is completely untrue in my case, and I know all the guys here at Docs, it's completely untrue in their cases. Wins and losses are extremely important, and picks are well selected. Put it that way. There's a lot of work that goes into it if you want to do this full time. There's a lot of guys that want to be me, that want to be a sports handicapper. And with the advent of legal sports wagering becoming more and more popular and legal throughout the United States here, you got guys coming out of the woodwork telling me they're a great handicapper and they can do this, that, and the other. Well, this handicapper I brought on is well vetted. 2 years of picks, over 60% both years, which is, kind of hard to believe, especially in the bubble last year. But nonetheless, they're going to be brought on full time. With day-to-day sports like Major League Baseball, NBA, college basketball, those type of things, and then bringing on new sports like NASCAR, PGA, WNBA, UFC. These are sports I did not do before I came to Docs. I've spread myself out a little bit too thin, and I kind of get my eye off the prize a little bit, and can't have that. So I'm succumbing to a new way of doing things and bringing on some help in basically every sport moving forward. And there is some compensation involved in that, but this is an individual out on the East Coast that has done very well for himself. He has the same philosophy that I have, and that is low volume, high return, and flat bet. So that being said, we're going to have a new program in place for 2021 in the WNBA, and that's the reason why. And we're going to continue to evolve as Tony George Sports through DocSports.com strives to be the best that we can each and every day. And I can guarantee you'll get 100% effort each and every day when you invest in our wares. Let's talk about the WNBA. And the WNBA, one thing about the WNBA, and we've done it for a couple years here, on a hit and miss basis, and that's completely unacceptable by me. But one thing about the WNBA, when we have picks out first thing in the morning on release times, that's when you bet them, because unlike any other sport that I've experienced, the line swings are extremely volatile. A team laying 3, at 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific, at 11 o'clock in the morning, could be laying 7.5 or 8. So, anybody who knows anything about betting sports, you're not betting into games, you're betting into numbers, and you're handicapping at a number. And when that number's off, doubled in an hour, hour and a half, there's no value in it. So that being said, when we get these picks out in the morning, you need to get on them. That's for sure. And totals can go from 169 to 177 in a bat of an eye. Because there's not a lot of action bet on WNBA overall, and those guys that do it, those books react very quickly. They're not as sharp on this as they are in the NFL or college, where they have all week to develop a line and move it based on action and this, that, and the other, and expected money to come in on NBA lines where they post a number and this, that, and the other. So be sure, and the best free tip you're going to get all day long is bet the number you handicap at, and that means betting it early. That's one thing about the WNBA you need to know. That being said, let's get to a futures play here. And one of the futures plays I have is on the Chicago Sky, currently sitting anywhere from plus 850 to plus 1,000 to win the WNBA Championship. And this is going to be a very good basketball team and a team that's going to be a very tough out for anybody. If you take a look at the futures odds right now, in the WNBA, you have Seattle sitting at plus 175, Las Vegas at plus 300. The Aces here locally, I plan on going to a lot of games. You have Washington at plus 350, LA at plus 550, and then you have Chicago sitting at plus 1,000. They have Diamond DeShields and Azura Stevens, who was out all last year. I think she only played 5 or 6 games. They're both going to be back. I think Stevens is going to have some limited minutes based on her knee injury, but she is going to be able to start games and contribute. They picked up 2-time league MVP Candace Parker in the offseason, and they've got playmakers in the backcourt, arguably one of the best shooters in the league in Quigley up there. And then they got Courtney Vandersloot. You've all heard of her, going back to the college days. Huge playmaker. This team's loaded. This team is loaded. And they're well coached. And, I like them, here as a plus 1,000 long shot, if you want to call it that. And plus 1,000 is a long shot to win the WNBA Championship. I think it's well worth a $100 bill. Might be well worth more than that. It was for me. I put $300 on them. So the payoff's going to be nice. This is a team that's going to cover a lot of numbers this year on the road and at home. So that being said, the WNBA tips off tomorrow. Get a free $60 and a link in the description below. Put it towards a month's package and give us a try. Here we go. Let's get it done. May 14th, tip off. Be there or be square.